Good day, Minecraftians. Purple Mentat here with Feed the Beast Pyramid Reborn episode 13. Today we're going to finish getting our Flux network and Signalum upgrade and conversion kits going. To support that, I've got myself, I finally set up those furnaces producing sand and stone. Yeah, stone. There we go. I've upgraded the servos I'm carrying around into Signalum. You can do so by tossing an ingot of Signalum with your servo or by creating them directly. Either way, works out. And I let the ender pearls and the copper build up a bit so that I could make the machines that I was going to need and have the resources on hand for the rest of this process. Now, step one amongst it is actually going to be... I made almost every machine I needed. I forgot one. A rather important one, but that's okay. Let's get that out of the way real quick. I wanted to actually make use of the aqueous accumulator this time. Now we've got everything except device frames. Well, let's go ahead and make as many of those as we can while I wait for more glass to cook, and then make one aqueous accumulator. And this works basically the same way as the Industrial 4 growing variant that we used earlier. Of course, I don't actually have stone on hand. That's fine. It's all fine. Got my stone going into a box here. This is why I've been making sure that this platform was too thick, was because eventually I might need to use some sort of fluids down here, and now is the time for that. And I made myself a reservoir from thermal expansion. As a number of the comments pointed out, the reservoir is the multi-bucket bucket that I've been looking for, and it is made through pretty basic materials: tin, couple of copper, a bucket, and a servo, which is just redstone and iron, and then upgraded along the way with Invar and then Electrum, and eventually will be upgraded with Signalum. But that's why we're building this machine we're building right now, is because we need cryotheum dust in relatively large quantities to be able to do what we want to do with Signalum. So, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we've got a liquid safe area for our aqueous accumulator to live in. And we're going to put down a couple of buckets of water, like that. And now the accumulator will be generating mass amounts of water. We're going to stick a... I don't think I'm going to be using the water right here for anything except the precipitator. So we're just going to let it fill up like that. It's going to need to be given power, which this will hopefully be the final usage of our old power cables. I'm really looking forward to getting past these. Come on. There you go. And good thing, too, because I'm running low. We might need to interrupt this project to finish the other project that we're working on, if I want to avoid having to make more cables. But we're going to make sure the glacial precipitator is set to producing snowballs, and then it just consumes water and power to do so. And that is step one in the creation process of cryotheum. We're going to need plenty of snowballs. Step two, we're going to need plenty of niter. And to create niter, I'm going to need to be bringing sand down here, which is going to be tough without easy... Well, you know what? There's a spot right there I can use. You're not connected to anything. Let me just do a bit of wire hijinks. I love the... creating these complicated nests of wires and pipes and stuff that end up going all over the place. It makes me happy. And I'm going to want sand out of you, so let me go grab some sand out of my furnace as our example item for the whitelist. And we're going to be piping this into a sequential fabricator, because the sequential fabricator is going to be making sandstone for us. Set recipe, and I believe that, let's see, simply press the confirm button and walk away. Not all recipes are valid. There might be a way to be very selective about where things go in the bottom so that you don't overload it, but it doesn't seem like that's an easy option with this one. That's fine. And then we give you the servo, and we start pumping in sand on a whitelist. And we should see sand show up and begin creating sandstone. It started pumping in some black quartz at first because I didn't have it whitelisted properly. That's okay. Now it's creating sandstone for us, which is perfect. And we're going to have our pulverizer directly underneath that. And we're going to allow the right hand to export the primary, the top to accept input. And you are going to export out the bottom. And now we're exporting sandstone into our pulverizer, feeding the extra sand it produces back up here. Actually, might want to use a slower servo just so that doesn't happen too quickly. And this will slowly produce us some niter. Our other options for producing niter are not great. I mean, it's more different sandstone items, or red sandstone items. Blitz rods, which we don't have a good access to. We could create one, I believe. And, or blitzes. Those are pretty much our options at this time. The other approach is, instead of niter, you can use the nitrate from immersive engineering, which has a higher generation percentage, but requires building the immersive engineering crusher, which is a whole nother set of infrastructures that we don't have yet. However, there is something that we can do to increase the rate that we get the niter. Or black quartz away, well, what we can of it. And that is to use an augment for that pulverizer. And this, the augment that we're looking for is the auxiliary sieve. Increases the chances of a secondary production and costs more energy per operation, but we don't really care about that, do we? And I'm going to go ahead and make 3 of these because, well, 4, I guess, because I screwed up, because we can afford it. Now, I'm going to need, I want to go straight to the reinforced with this instead of having to go up a couple. So we're going to make ourselves a stack of the hardened upgrade kits. Uh-oh. I'm going to need to, unfortunately, because the hardened glass is ore dictionaried, I actually have to manually put that in to the recipe slot. And let's see. I can't quite make a stack because I need silver gears. Uh-oh. That's a problem. Here, let me just grab, let me go ahead and make a stack of the silver gears first, and then we'll fix it. Stack of silver gears. I love how easy this is with this setup, though I am afraid that I'm going to ruin everything. And the reinforced conversion kits are made by combining hardened upgrade kits and reinforced upgrade kits, and then the Signalum conversion kits are made the same way. So, actually, can I make a stack of you first? No, I need a stack of bronze gears. But still, this is just beautiful. Stack of you, good. And that hardened glass again. There we are. And now I'll be able to turn those 2 stacks into a stack of reinforced conversion kits. And these let me skip the hardened upgrade kit and go straight to a reinforced machine, like so. And now I can add a couple of these auxiliary sieve options, which will make it more energy intensive, but will also greatly increase the rate at which I get niter. Dang. Yeah, now we're getting one almost every production. I don't know the exact numbers on those, but I can find out. And a quick glance at the thermal expansion wiki on teamcofh.com in the documentation segment shows me that with 1 installed, you get about a 1.18 chance multiplier, and with 2, about a 1.43. So when we're dealing with niter, which has a 40% chance, and you multiply that by 1.43, you end up at about a 57% chance. So a bit over half of the crafts. Now, if we get up to 3 of them, that's going to be 1.82 instead, which is going to get us to about 73% of the crafts. And if we get up to 4, then it's going to be guaranteed. 100% of the crafts will give niter. And, I mean, we probably, honestly, don't need to do that. Now, that's 2 of the items that need to go in. I'm going to need to get myself another item interface, because there's no amount of creative wiring that I'm willing to do that can bypass the need for more of those. I'll be right back. I'm actually going to spend a minute. I'm going to craft myself up a stack of those because I'm using so many. Alright, pretty sure I've got everything I need now. I might need to go back for more because that's just how this go, isn't it? Anyway, we've got the glacial precipitator. We're going to have it exporting to both sides. We put a fluid transposer next to that and have it accept from both sides. Now we're putting snowballs into our fluid transposer. We wish we had more cabling, but that's okay. We're solving cabling today, right? Yeah. And we're going to input the top, output the side with our magma crucible. I'm pretty sure that it's been... Ooh, you know, I'm vaguely concerned about trying to fluid duct the destabilized redstone with these regular fluid ducts, because it will break if contents are extremely hot or cold. So let's make sure that we don't make that mistake, even if it was a potential mistake. And we go and we check out fluid ducts. And we make ourselves, I think the hardened ones are what we want. Yeah, because the super laminar... Actually, those are an option, aren't they? Bronze and... yeah. Those basically limitless fluid transfer rate when pressurized. They're not necessary, but they're possible, so we might as well. Let's see. And those basically want hardened fluid duct plus hardened glass and bronze. I wonder if it's any hardened glass, or does it have to be a metal hardened glass? Accepts any glass block, any block glass hardened. Good. Alright, so we can get the hardened fluid ducts first, which are somewhat annoying to put into here. But, well, actually, no, I might be able to do it Nope. Nope. Not so lucky. Alright, so let's do that. Let's make ourselves a stack. And I guess I'm going to trash those old fluid ducts, and then we can go ahead and do the super laminar fluid ducts, because we've got the resources, so why not do it? Right? I've got the hardened fluid ducts in my inventory. Should work fine. Yeah, there you go. Oh, it was only popping up red because I couldn't quite do a full stack. I only had 60 of them. I'm not going to need this level of fluid transfer, but I might as well, you know, the fact that I'm creating infinite everything, I might as well use that to my advantage. Now, we're going to need to pump redstone into there. Yeah. And that should be good. And we're going to need to put the output back in here. But I don't think we need anything else out of this one, so we can go ahead and stick you there. We'll use regular item ducts. They don't have super fast transit speed, but they don't need it either. And where'd my servos go? Blind, I tell you. Pump out redstone. You go. So redstone should start showing up in here as soon as I attach you to the laser network. We can do just like this. Yeah. Cool. Destabilized redstone being created, put into the fluid transposer. Destabilized redstone, when transposed onto snowballs, creates blizz powder. And that's basically our best potential recipe for blizz powder, because it otherwise requires blizz rods, which I believe only spawn in snow biomes, and finding a specific biome on a skyblock is no fun. It's possible. I'm pretty sure we've got the, what we need to do it, but it's not enjoyable. So we're going to use our fluid crafter again, because this one allows me to easily lock down what goes where. And we're going to add redstone going into the back of the fluid crafter. Or, not the back, the top. Yeah. Cut you off. How are you doing? I need to find a better way to handle the sand situation. And I'm not quite sure what that way is going to be, because I want that niter. Anyway, you're going to accept from all sides. I want blizz powder. Oh. Huh. You know what? We're going to have you, crafting grid, stop accepting from all sides temporarily, so that I can get the recipe set up. Unlock you. Snowball, blizz powder, niter. You have redstone coming in? Oh, there we go. That's the problem. There it is. And redstone. Isn't that right? Is it shaped crafting? Does it really want it to be in that very specific structure? Is that the problem? Anyway, lock that inventory. Add more of each. And, maybe the fluid crafter won't work without it requiring a fluid. That means life got slightly more difficult for me. Let me look into this. Alright, so I'm thinking that my best bet is actually to use the tried and true analog crafter that we've been using in the past, because it will do the job and it's got a sticky to keep at least one item in each, and then we can reset these to be accessible from all sides, because it will always have at least one item of each type in it, so it doesn't matter. Let's see, on the left we want to output our niter. Yeah, on the right we want to be outputting our snowballs. Yep, okay, good. And we want to be bringing in some redstone from the top. Like so. Excellent. This thing's actually starting to slow down on the sand. I really need to figure out a better option for you that doesn't require me constantly checking back. But I'm not 100% certain what that is yet. It's gonna, it'll be fine for now. We don't need a ton of cryotheum right now. I do want to get this automatable in the long run, but we can make that happen. And, ooh, you know what? I bet that if I want to get clever about life, I can go ahead and set that up like that, and set you to export out the top. Definitely exported, but it seems to have stuffed to the blizz powder. Okay, good. The blizz powder did eventually end up in the analog crafter. Whew! I was a little concerned for a moment there. Yeah, good. Alright, and then we can just bring you like this, turn you off, and go all the way around to the side, and we can pump out just our blizz powder. And once we give that a spot upstairs, we should, or not blizz powder, cryotheum dust. Once we give that a spot upstairs, we should find that it's making its way into the proper place. We're going to be using cryotheum and pyrotheum dust, so I think that I'm going to give these a spot here and here. And then we're going to have one more big alloy, which is going to be the enderium, and I think we'll set up there. But that's, You know, both of those are an if we get to it and if we decide it's worth it. I guess let me know in the comments below. Do you want me to, you know, take this all the way to the end, or have I already wasted too much time on tech and stuff that isn't really necessary, considering that we're going to be blowing past it for other things in the near future. Tell me what you think down below. Should I keep exploring the edges, or should I focus on what we need for the goals rather than playing around with all of this extra stuff? I'm curious to know what you guys want to see. Alright, before we go any further, with that, before we move on to the Flux, let's go ahead and get our kits made up. Now, we need the Signalum upgrade kits. This is what we've been working for. The only thing we're missing now is Electrum gears, and they're really easy for us to make because they're just iron and Electrum. So we'll go ahead and make up a stack of them. And now, we can't afford a full stack, but we did get 47 Signalum upgrade kits, and we can combine those with our reinforced conversion kits to make Signalum conversion kits, which is fantastic. We are going to use a few just plain old Signalum upgrade kits because these are already upgraded to reinforced. There's no need to go any further with that, and we're going to get more transmission coils in there. I'm going to need 10 more of those auxiliary transmission coils. Just like so. Man, it's so easy. I love it so much. And now we're stuck waiting on our cryotheum being made. So let's go take a glance at the cryotheum conversion process. See how that's doing overall. Where our bottleneck is. Our bottleneck seems to be the blitz powder. Isn't a huge surprise. Oh, oops. I almost ran out of snowballs in my fluid transposer because I had things set up wrong. Let's see. We seem to be producing the blitz powder just about as fast as we can destabilize the redstone. So let's upgrade you first. And that will allow you to move a bit faster. Yeah, that's better. It's actually keeping it ahead of the game now. We're slowly building up a stockpile of destabilized redstone. And both of the snowball inputs are being kept constantly full. We're going faster than we need to for niter. Fantastic. That's good. That's very good. Finally, we get to finish the dynamo upgrades. Very happy about that. And I want 16 more of these, but it's going to take a bit. Oh, I actually need more Electrum gears for that. Just want to keep a whole stack of Electrum gears forever. But yeah, that's got us in pretty good shape now. And each of our dynamos is now able to produce a maximum of... Ha! That was the reception coil. That's the wrong upgrade. That lets your machine move faster at the cost of more energy. Stack you. 10 of you. And so far, like, I've been putting this system through its paces, and it seems to be going pretty good. It doesn't seem to be causing a lot of lag problems the way I feared it might. We'll see if that continues. But yeah, now each of these can output a potentially 400 RF per tick, giving us access to a total of 4,000 RF per tick right now. We're not content leaving it at that, though. We're going to be increasing our power generation capacity with 10 dynamos later on, but not until we have access to better dynamos. Did I miss one? No, I had 11 of these upgrade kits. Yeah, that's what it was. Alright, so now that we've got our power generation more than squared away, it's time to get our power transmission improved beyond those flux cables, which are just not quite doing it for us. And the way we're going to be doing that is with those flux blocks and the whole flux network, because it's cool and I've never played with it before, and Belgabor has opened my eyes to the possibilities. So we're going to make ourselves a flux controller. This manages your energy network. Some flux storage. And if we want to make the 128 million RF flux storage, we need 6 of the Herculeans, which needs a total of 36 of the basics. 8. And we're out. And that's just how it goes. That's okay. We can start with one of the Herculean ones, which is a mere 12.8 million RF. Yeah, I think that's pretty good, honestly. And then, what are we doing? What are we at? I think that we're stuck waiting for more, honestly, because we've got the, yeah, we're stuck waiting to make more of the Ender Pearls and the Blaze Powder to get more Eyes of Ender, to make more Flux Cores, to make more Flux Blocks. Flux Block? Yeah, that's it exactly. And every Ender Pearl is a Flux Block, basically. So let's look at how many more Flux Blocks we need. We've got 2 of the basic Flux storage and 1 Herculean. We want 5 more Herculeans, which is a total of 30 flux storage, which means we need another 28 that we don't have, which is going to be 6 blocks each, and at 28 by 6, that's 168 Ender Pearls. We ain't got that. But we will, if we give it time. For right now, though, I certainly don't want to be stuck waiting that long. How do I want to do this? I think what I'd like, because I like having everything up here where I can run around and check on it fairly easily. I think I'm going to put my, Actually, we can stick our Flux controller and our Flux storage anywhere we want. So we'll stick it in the general command center that I've kind of got going on here. And set our Flux controller. We're going to create a new network right there. And we'll just name it Purple Mentat. And it's on private. And, boy. Having to set the color by RGB is, whew. Let's do 225 and 150 and, 48. That's a decent purpley color. I'll take it. And then we set you to the same network. There we go. And there's no power coming in yet because it's not connected to any power. And I don't believe that it's a thing where we can just connect up some cables and call it good either. Like if I were to pick this flux storage up and stuff it on that cable, yeah, it doesn't connect, as you can see. Same with the controller. If I pick up the controller, stuff it on that cable, nothing. We have to use the items from the mod. Not a big deal, though, because the flux plugs and the flux points are both fairly cheap. Flux plugs use flux blocks, flux points use redstone. So we need to be careful that we have this set just to the flux cores and not to the flux blocks. We're actually going to delete the flux block recipe entirely. Just have the flux cores. And we'll use 4 stacks of Ender Pearls, making ourselves more cores. Ooh, you can go into the inventory. Maybe if we do it like that, it'll work out. I don't know. Oh, right. Press apply after changing. That's my problem. So, inventory, apply, you, recipe, click, input, apply, there. And now things should stay in the input buffer, and we should be able to make use of them for further crafting purposes. because I do want to turn one stack of those into flux blocks. Which needs more flux dust. Of course it does. Here, we'll add what we can. And let's grab some more stacks of redstone. And I haven't seen any comments from the last video, so I still don't know if you want to see the flux dust automation. But once again, tell me if that's a thing that you're interested in. I'm not too worried about making that happen at the moment. But maybe I should be. Alright, so, flux points receive energy. We're going to want 10 of these. Flux points send energy. That's 2 machines. We're going to want basically a limitless number of these. So we're going to use up the rest of the resources we have making the flux points. Now the plugs, we've got a couple of options. We can, I believe, stick just the one receives energy like that, and have all of the dynamos pointing into them. And now it's sending energy into our network. Right? Receives energy. Hopefully that's receives energy into the network and I've got this figured right. Otherwise I'm going to feel really silly making 19 of these plugs. Of course, there's nowhere to put the power until we put a storage down. Check on it. Nope, I had it wrong. It is indeed the plugs that we need to have sending into the network, as opposed to receiving into the network. I wish that people could decide on better verbiage for this, you know? You. Mentat. Now I'll go double check. And if it still doesn't work, then I'm going to bang my head on something and then figure... Okay, there we go. Power's coming in now. So you can pump your power into the cables and then into your flux plug, if that's what you desire. And we should be able to come down here and see all of the... Yep, all of the dynamos are now running and feeding into them as best as it can, but the solar flux cables are limiting that. So let's go ahead and remove those and start setting up plugs for each one. And if you're finding that going into the inventory of the, going into the UI and clicking and clicking and clicking is frustrating, well, you've got options. Specifically, there is a configurator you can build. Oops. Give me that. And here it is. Flux configurator. Uses a couple of cores, some obsidian, and an ender pearl. Let me go get that together and actually show you how easy this is when you're making use of that. Do I have any more cores? I do! Hooray. And the configurator allows you to just copy and paste your network settings. So just right-click to shift, right-click to copy, right-click to paste, and that'll get them all on the same network. Which you can check out the connections on the network, as well as the current statistics by looking in any of them. I really like the Flux Networks power transfer setup. I think that it's well done, despite any initial complaints I had about the some of the issues with it, with the verbiage. And this will just go ahead and remember that forever. You don't have to reset it every time you move it. And then to get power out, all you need to do is set up some points. And that's powering. We now have 2 flux points powering our resource generators. Great, huh? So now, if I want to remove all of these cables and replace them with the flux points, that's something that I can totally do. Goodbye, cables. You are no longer needed. And I'm going to actually spend a little bit of time working on that. Oops. There we go. Huh. You click in nowhere, it'll allow you to configure the configurator. And we're going to keep that there to power those cables, which are eventually going to be used to... How am I going to work these out? Eventually going to be used to deliver RF to our goal. Yeah, this is cool. But yeah, there we go. Power transmission and generation setup complete. Do you even need power? Fluid Crafter doesn't need power. That's cool. Now it's just a matter of making sure that everything's getting power, and it seems to be. And if we want to get clever about life, what we can do is we can change these guys to be a different priority. Let me check on that real quick. Alright, I'm not able to find documentation which gives me the details that I want. I don't know if higher priority or lower priority is more important, unfortunately. So I can't tell you if the resource generators are better off having a high priority with everything else low, or a low priority with everything else high if you want to make sure that you're not going to run out of power for your fuel-producing resource station. But that's okay. I'm sure that that's something that we could figure out with a little bit of testing if we were to run into a power problem. I don't expect to run into a power problem. I mean, I've already got 13 million RF stored up, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep on keeping on and be okay. Now let's see. If I toss you in here, you fizzle out because you don't have any obsidian, okay? And I'm still playing with the crafter, and you're seeing me figure it out live. And if I give you some obsidian, you convert it all into blocks, because these have been set to keep it in the inventory. Yeah, that's the problem. Alright, so I want you going external. Right? Yes. Now when you have everything, you sit there and do nothing? What the heck? Yeah, there you go. Good. So now the flux cores are becoming external, so that I have the ability to make myself a bunch of plugs easily. You know what? You can hold on to the, not plugs, points. Because those are the cheap one that use redstone blocks. There we go. Still uses an awful lot of those flux cores, though. And I think I might be stuck permanently with, like, one extra, because most things use 4. Only the configurator and the flux controller, which you only need one of each, uses 1. It's kind of hilarious, actually. So yeah, there we go. That's about all the time that we've got for today. Thanks for hanging out with me for the second point of our Signalum Kits and Flux Network episode. If you've enjoyed today's episode, let me know in the comments below and leave a thumbs up. If you've not, let me know in the comments below, tell me what to do better, and leave a thumbs down. Either way, you want to see more of this series, please click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.